Oh. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Okay, people are trickling in, so we'll start in a couple of minutes. We'll see if anybody else joins. I'll be back in 1 second.
All right, if you're just joining, giving some time for people to join the webinar.
Can you hear Daisy? Can you hear me? Oh, your mic's on.
I can hear you.
I got a message that my mic wasn't working. I was like, oh no. And then I couldn't hear you, and I was like, oh no. All right, so we have 8 people, 8 attendees. Do we want to give it another minute? It's 1:32. So maybe give it 1 more minute. All right, do we want to get started? Okay, welcome everybody. This is the philosophy Q&A/info session for UC Davis. Welcome, we're happy to have you. So we're going to introduce ourselves, and then we're going to spend our time together with an intro to the philosophy major at UC Davis, and then we're going to answer questions for you. If we can't get to all of the questions, then we're going to post the answers online, but with a small group, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to answer everything. So I'll start with the intros. My name is Rachel Hale, and I'm an academic advisor for philosophy. I actually was a transfer student to UC Davis. I came from Solano Community College, and I graduated from Davis with bachelor's in both German and history. And I named him that because he was found beautiful, and I really like Star Wars, therefore Finn.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Stacy Jenkins, and I am also an academic advisor for philosophy. And I went to Chico State and got a bachelor's in psychology with minors in English and communication. I got a master's from University of the Pacific in education, and I've been at UC Davis since 2017. I'm really excited to meet you all when we have a chance to. Fun fact about me is I have 3 cats, and I named them all after Twilight characters. if one passes by me during this webinar, I'll pick them up and show you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kristen, and I graduated from UC Davis last year with a bachelor's degree in psychology and philosophy. Fun fact about me, I've moved around a lot. I used to live in the Philippines, and then I moved to Singapore right before I came here to the US. That's me.
All right, thanks everybody. So we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the philosophy major. Looks like and so philosophy at UC Davis is a Bachelor of Arts. We call it an AB. It's the same thing. We just we have three different emphases, which is broad and describe into law school. On the LSAT, law school entrance exam, and then we also gives firm grounding in critical thinking and analytical abilities that med school admission boards value.
I'm just gonna interrupt real quick to say that if you have questions, please type them in the Q&A. I recognize that Rachel may have been cutting out as she was talking.
Oh,
so
no.
if Rachel, if you just want to repeat what you said in the last slide, I think that would be helpful for a lot of.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't realize that I was cutting out. Sorry. So we have three different emphases at UC Davis. We have the general for philosophy, which is the most broad, and you can design your own major based on which class you take. You'll have the law emphasis, which is designed for entry into law school. And then our third emphasis is pre-med. It's designed to prep students for entry into med school and gives a firm grounding in critical thinking and analytical abilities that med school admission boards value. Can you hear me okay now?
It was cutting out again, but it's in and out.
Okay, I'm having problems with my microphone, I'm sorry. So yes, three emphases. General, you can design your own kind of emphasis. Pre-med, designed to help you get into med school and teach you critical thinking and analytical abilities. And then pre-law is for people who are bound for law school, and philosophy students regularly outperform their peers on the LSAT. Okay, next slide, Kristen. All right, so this is an overview of the philosophy major at UC Davis. We have the three emphases listed, and then we have a small sample of our courses that we offer under each emphasis. So we have many different areas of philosophy that we teach. We have general, ancient, early modern, philosophy of mind, ethics, philosophy of science, language, theory of knowledge. So you can see that we have a wide range of philosophy classes. If you want to focus on ethics, some possible careers could be working on an ethics committee at a hospital, or working for a regulatory agency like the EPA. Of course, if you do pre-law, you can go into law school. And with the pre-med emphasis, you don't necessarily need to be headed to med school. You could go into bioethics, We have philosophy of biosci, so you could work in a lot of different areas of the medical field without necessarily going into med school. Okay, do we have another slide? Oh, so that was really fast. Yes, please use the Q&A and we will start answering questions. Don't be shy. We will definitely try and get to all the questions in the time that we have, which is 20 minutes.
So one question is, how many students are in the philosophy major at UCD? And I just looked it up. We are currently in spring quarter standing at 242 students in philosophy.
That's more than I thought, actually. So cool.
Another question is, could you please go back to the previous slide with the list of possible careers? So we also have this available, this handout that you see on the slide. This is available in a folder we're going to share with online. And I think it is going to be located in the same place as the webinar.
Okay.
So this is another question for any advisor who wants to respond. I am wanting to get into public policy for legislative office. I am a philosophy major, but wondering if philosophy of law would be best for me to get to work as public policy analyst or researcher.
That's a good question. I mean, yes, I definitely think that you could do philosophy with a pre-law emphasis, I think is what you're asking. If you want to get into public policy. Another thing you could do if you want is double major with maybe political science. Philosophy is a very small major as far as units go, so you can finish it relatively fast, and you would have room in your schedule to do a double major if you want. Or you could do a minor, which is about half of a major. So that would be another option to do, maybe a minor in political science.
I'll also say that on the philosophy website, which is philosophy.ucdavis.edu, under the undergraduate tab on that website, there's information on that says career information, and you can see a link to a video that we put on our website from politicians, people in public office who used philosophy as their undergraduate degree to get to where they are.
That's very helpful.
Okay. Another question is, when choosing between UCD and UCLA for philosophy, what makes Davis Philosophy's program stand out? Maybe Kristen wants to help talk about her experience in philosophy.
Sure. Well, what I really enjoyed about at least the Davis philosophy, I don't have much experience with UCLA, but I really liked how you can easily approach the faculty here at Davis. And they're always doing research, so it's very easy to approach them and see if perhaps they would take you on as a research assistant, or if they can give you more advice on how to use philosophy in the future for yourself.
Anything to add, Rachel?
Yeah, I think it is a very small major as far as the number of students go, so you do have a lot of contact with your professors, which is really nice. There are majors on campus that are really large, like psychology, where you maybe don't get as much one-on-one interaction with your professors. So yeah, I think the personal contact between you and your professors and TAs is definitely an advantage to coming to UC Davis.
So I'll answer this next question. When you talked about general emphasis, you mentioned it was possible to make your own major. I'm trying to figure out what classes to take in what order. So for upper division philosophy classes, which is going to be your primary focus in your major once you get here as a transfer student, there's a lot of flexibility because much of the philosophy courses don't have additional prerequisites, meaning the order to a certain extent doesn't matter as much. It might depend on what your graduate school plans might be, if that is something that's on the table for you. For example, if you're looking forward to taking the LSAT for law school or the MCAT for medical school, there are certain courses you might want to prioritize over others. But if that's not the case for you, then it really might just be based on what's offered and when it's offered. Does anybody want to add anything to that?
I think that was a good answer.
Okay. Another question. What are the requirements to graduate with a minor or major in philosophy? How many units are required?
So for the upper division, if you're coming in as a transfer student, you might have all of our lower division classes done already. In that case, it's only 36 units for the philosophy major, which is basically 9 upper division philosophy classes. For a minor, it would be 5 upper division philosophy classes, and you can choose whichever ones you want to take as long as they're upper division. So it is a pretty small major and definitely possible to double major. Or the person asking the question is a math major interested in minoring. So yeah, that would be totally doable.
Okay. We're done with all of the Q&As that were submitted. Now's your chance to ask another question if you have them. Do you know if the fall quarter will be done online? And I'm wondering how philosophy classes would look like online.
At this point, we honestly don't know. Right now, we are having our summer classes online, so at least through September, classes are going to be online, but we honestly have not heard anything about fall yet, one way or the other. Philosophy classes online, as far as I know, are the lectures, and then I'm guessing that there's discussion with the students based on the size of the class, but I haven't really seen what any of our philosophy classes look like online at this point. Do you know, Stacy?
I don't, but I know that many students who we're talking to in an advising context, they have challenges that I think are true for many students in a lot of classes, not just philosophy, just across campus in general. And it's generally the adjustment to online instruction because it's something that is not normal for us at UC Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to head out to another webinar, and so Rachel and Kristen will take care of the rest of your questions. Bye, everybody.
All right. Okay, so there's a question about study abroad programs. We don't have specific study abroad programs for the you are study abroad, and if you take philosophy classes for your oops, sorry. You could also take lower division classes abroad if you wanted to. Hopefully my microphone's working okay.
I think you were cutting out a little bit. If you could repeat that, that might be helpful.
Sorry, I never have issues like this. Okay, so I was saying that we don't have specific study abroad programs for philosophy, but you can study abroad through the study abroad program or UC, and take philosophy classes abroad. Class size per division. Kristen, do you want to answer that?
Sure. For the class sizes in philosophy upper divs, seeing as most of the time they are more specific subject matter, the class sizes tend to vary between anywhere between less than 20 people um, to 40 at most I've seen. But that really depends on what class it is. So for example, our symbolic logic, the upper div class, tends to be a bit more popular as it's required for cognitive science and I think, yeah, the cognitive science major. So those tend to be about 80 to 100 people. But in general, a lot of the philosophy classes tend to stay within the 20 to 30 range, and sometimes even smaller. So I've had a class where there were just 15 of us in class, and that wasn't a discussion, that was the lecture itself.
Okay. Another question is, how do we get into research or the honors program with the philosophy department? And the way that you do that is take some classes, and once you work with, you can talk to them. Hey, I really love working with the assistant. So we do also have honors program, which is philosophy for 80 and 80. So it's commitment. So again, you find a professor that you want to work with and you go and talk to them. And if they say yes, then there's some paperwork to fill out. And then we do have a GPA requirement. So as long as you meet that, then you can join the program. Kristen, are you looking at the Q&A right now?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to take the next question?
Okay.
I feel like you would answer that better than me.
Okay, so it says Sacramento State seems to have a focus on ethics in its philosophy program. Does UC Davis have any focus? So our focuses basically are almost like the 3 emphases, but in terms of what classes to take specifically for a specific emphasis. So when I graduated with the Bachelor of Arts in philosophy, but I had the pre-med emphasis. And what I did with my upper division, I tend to like ethics, so I took more of the ethics classes in the end. So you can shape your philosophy classes, even if you are a certain emphasis, you can still stick to a particular type of philosophy. So if you like ethics, you can stick to more ethics classes. But of course, there are limitations as to what philosophy classes you can take within the major. But in general, there is some breathing room for being flexible about what type of philosophy you would like to pursue.
Okay. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A. If you have more questions, definitely ask. And if there are no more questions in the next 2 minutes, then we'll go ahead and end the webinar. And these are our different ways to connect with us. So we do have email, philadvising@ucdavis.edu. We have our website that Stacy mentioned earlier. And then we also have an Instagram. So yes, feel free to look at all of those. Okay, oh, what internships open to philosophy students? So at UC Davis, we have an internship and career center. We send a lot of students over there to talk about internships. Just in general, we don't have really philosophy specific internships, but we do have the working as a research assistant with a professor, which was what I mentioned earlier. So yeah, you're welcome to talk to the ICC once you're here, and they're really good at helping people get internships. We have another question. What does a research assistant do? They basically help a professor do their research. So if it's looking up things, scanning documents, helping them with whatever research they're doing at the moment. So yeah, you're assisting them in their research.
And yeah, I believe that was, we do have to cut off our webinar at this time to transfer over to our next session. But if you do have any questions, our email is here and you can always reach out to us. And any unanswered questions we have left in our Q&A, it will be answered, and the tiny URL link at the bottom right-hand corner is where you can find all of the documents that we'd shared just now, and that's where all the Q&A stuff will also be posted.
All right, well, thank you everybody for coming. I really appreciate it, and we hope to see all of you in the fall. So thank you.